The term Mandela effect originated in 2013, when Nelson Mandela passed away, to explain a sort of collective false memory. After he died, there were people who were baffled, not because he had passed away, but because they had sworn he had been dead since the 80s. For some reason, loads of people thought that Mandela had been dead for years, and it became known as a common fact by some. Even though the phenomena didn't originate with this event, it did popularize the idea, and now people see Mandela effects everywhere.
Hold on a second. Didn't Nelson Mandela die when Barack Obama was president? Because I could have sworn I thought I saw a memorial speech from him. Now, I don't know what year, but Obama served from, 2012 through 2018, right? So, let me check something. Actually, it's 2013 through 2019, rather. He died in December 5th, 2013. But it's weird. If you're one of those who thought he died in the 80s, let me know.
I'm Mike with List 25, and today we're sharing some of the most famous and craziest ones. So let's look at 25 mind-blowing Mandela effect instances that will, blow your mind. 25. Nelson Mandela. Let's start off with the original Mandela effect, the one dealing with the man himself. Nelson Mandela is most famous for being a former president of South Africa, but he also served 21 years in prison until he was released in 1990. He died in 2013, as I previously stated, but after his death, people started scratching their heads in confusion. Many people thought he had died while he was in prison in the 80s. This is strange considering he didn't become the president of South Africa until after he got out of prison, and yet people swore that he had died in the 80s. A paranormal researcher coined the term Mandela effect to explain this phenomena, and the rest was history. 24.
I wonder if people were confused that he looked like someone who died in the 80s, but I can't picture anyone who looks like him right now on top of my head who died in the 80s. Oh.
24. Oscar Mayer or Oscar Mayer. It would...
Okay. I've heard this called Oscar Mayer. But let's see what this has to say.
Seem as though not even hot dogs are safe from the dreaded Mandela effect. Even though many remember the famous Wienermobile and packaging, they get the spelling of the brand completely wrong. Many people, including dozens of newspaper articles over the entirety of the company's history, have been spelling it Oscar Mayer, M-E-Y-E-R, when it is in fact Oscar Mayer with an A, M-A-Y-E-R. Don't believe me? Well then check out my friend and the writer of this article and his wife at the famous Wienermobile. Hopefully I'm pointing at it. Hopefully
I've been calling it Oscar Mayer though. But it's Oscar Mayer? I didn't even think about the misspelling. Let alone how you pronounce it correctly. Okay, that one got me.
Put it here. So the next time you think of the famous Wiener song, remember the correct spelling.
Oh, I want to be an Oscar Mayer Wiener dog or something like that. I've heard it from The Simpsons too. Hold on, this is where I remember it from. Hold on a second.
But does he know all the words to the Oscar Mayer song?
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be.
This is where I heard it from. As a kid. And I've been calling it Mayer because The Simpsons screwed it up. And because The Simpsons screwed it up, I'm screwing it up.
Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
And it's Mayer the entire time?
Newspaper articles over the entirety of the company's history have been spelling it Oscar Mayer, M-E-Y-E-R, when it is in fact Oscar Mayer with an A, M-A-Y-E-R. Don't believe me? First name? Oh, it's not really even a wiener. 23. Uncle Sam's hat. The famous I Want You advertisement for the U.S. Army was created in 1917 in an effort to get more people to sign up for the military. It was instantly iconic and holds a very dear place for many patriots across the country. There's no doubt that the imagery of good old Uncle Sam is synonymous with the United States. Hold on. What's he look like again? Many will tell you he's dressed in a blue jacket, white shirt, red bow tie, and the patented red, white, and blue top hat. This, however, is not the case. Uncle Sam's hat is actually a simple white top hat with a blue band and stars on it. There are no red stripes at all on his hat. Despite it being completely wrong, a hat with red stripes is sold as merch and is an American symbol in and of itself. 22. Beam me up.
Like, I did not know. Like, if you were to ask me, what does he look like? What's his hat look like? I guess it would be like everything else, like all the merchandise, right? I would answer it like that. Beat me up, Scotty.
Scotty. People distinctly remember James T. Kirk saying, "Beam me up, Scotty." While Captain Kirk said variations of the line, he never said the actual phrase in the entirety of the original series. He said many variations of the line, but never actually the full phrase, "Beam me up, Scotty." The closest he ever came to this famously misquoted line was when he said, "Beam us up, Scotty." Sure, it's close, but it isn't exact and isn't what is endlessly referenced. 21. You like me. You really...
Like, I'm not a Star Trek person to know enough about that, so if that got you, let me know. You like me. You really like me. Is this from The Mask?
like me. You may not know where this quote came from, but you've almost definitely heard it in some form or another. The quote comes from the 1985 Oscars when Sally Fields gave her acceptance speech for Best Actress. However, she never said, "You like me, you really like me." She actually said, "This time I feel it, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me." She was made fun of by many people. It was spoofed by The Mask, and she was even openly mocked by Madonna, all for something she never actually said. 21.
Yeah, I've never seen the actual speech. I'm just repeating what I saw on The Mask when I was a little kid.
Lucy, you've got some splaining to do. Everyone remembers the famous quote from one of TV's most iconic comedies, I Love Lucy. Anyone who watched or knows about the show remembers Lucy's husband, Ricky Ricardo, exclaiming, "You've got some splaining to do," whenever Lucy would get in trouble. And she would. A lot. Even though we remember this happening quite frequently on the show, and even though we've heard it referenced in countless other TV shows, well, it was never said on the show people claim it came from. He asked Lucy to explain in many other ways, except the most famous variation. 19.
That one does not apply to me. Even as a millennial, you think I'd watch it. Or at least, I know of the show, but I never sat down and watched an episode. So I'm sure some people have. Let me know if that got you too. Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes. Despite remembering the title being spelled Looney Tunes, Toons, and it makes complete sense for it to be spelled like that, tunes, like as in cartoons, that's not how it's spelled at all. In fact, it's always been spelled with a U, Looney Tunes, Tunes. The reason why they spell it this way is because of the inspiration of Walt Disney's Silly Symphonies. The very first shorts were animations with musical compositions owned by Warner Brothers. 18.
I guess if you were to ask me before seeing that, how do you spell Looney Tunes? I think the part where tunes, I probably would have guessed Toons instead of Tunes. Smokey the Bear isn't real?
Smokey the Bear isn't real. While we all lovingly call the wildfire awareness mascot Smokey the Bear, well, that's not his actual name. His name is just Smokey Bear. Even though the only thing we hear in our heads when we walk through the woods is the wise words of Smokey warning us to prevent wildfires, we just can't seem to get his actual name right. Sorry, Smokey.
You know what I'm starting to think? Because I would have called him Smokey the Bear too. But it is Smokey Bear. Like his first name is Smokey, last name is Bear. Is that you kind of roughly remember the name. Maybe someone says it, but they said it wrong, but you agree with them instantly. Like, oh yeah, that sounds right. And then it just spreads that way.
17. Does Frosty the Snowman have a scarf? When we think about Frosty the Snowman, we picture his old top hat, his pipe, and button nose. But does he have a scarf? Many would say that he does, and they'd be fair in thinking that, considering much of the merchandise and decorations that have Frosty on them depict him with a red scarf. However, Frosty does not have a scarf in the original 1969 TV short. We've seen so many holiday decorations of Frosty with a scarf that seeing him without one just feels wrong.
I mean, okay, well, you can say the first Frosty the Bear did not have scars, but there's been different variations. I don't think people claim that one, right? I don't think it's like copyrighted, like, you know, that Frosty the Snowman belongs to someone.
16. Shazam, starring Sinbad. Many people remember Sinbad portraying a genie named Shazam in a movie with the same name. This isn't the case, though. Many people are getting Shazam confused with the actual movie called Kazam, which starred Shaq as a genie. Things get more confusing, though, as people claim to have VHS copies of Shazam, and they claim they no longer play. Sinbad made light of this particular instance when he released fake footage of Shazam as an April Fool's joke. God, I have this one. I do. I remember. I've seen Kazam, and I also remember Sinbad. Yeah, I fall into that category. 15.
Yeah, if you were to ask me Shazam, I would have gotten that.
Captain Crunch. Ah yes, the good old captain sailing on a sea of milk straight into our hearts, or mouths. Good old Captain Crunch. But wait, he is a captain, right? Well, it appears as though the name of the cereal is actually just Captain Crunch. The man on the box is nothing more than a liar, a pirate, and a scallywag. No wonder the cereal is being discontinued. What? This is how I'm finding it? No. This is how...
Well, with his 3 solid stripes, that would make him a commander.
I'm finding out the cereal's being discontinued? Well, nobody wants a liar in the cereal aisle. What? Okay, let me know down in the comments below if you know if Crunch has been discontinued.
Oh, but this one he has 4 stripes. That makes him a captain, but this one has 3. Interesting.
Continued. I see an article from 2011 saying it was, but that was 12 years ago. So, is there a Mandela effect about it being canceled? Oh my God.
But the spelling of it, I don't think... If you ask me how is Captain Crunch spelled, I'm pretty sure I would have said, CAP''N.
14. Shaggy's Adam's Apple. Everyone's favorite green-shirted hippie investigator. Everyone can picture him perfectly. His green shirt, brown pants, chin, facial hair, shaggy hair, and Adam's apple. Sounds accurate, right? Wrong. Shaggy doesn't have an Adam's apple in the classic cartoons. Some people claim that the original character aired with an Adam's apple and was later drawn out, but even those people would be wrong. Some even applauded the 2015 reboot Be Cool, Scooby-Doo for adding the Adam's apple as an homage to the Shaggy of old. How wrong they were. 13.
So he didn't have one? Does New Ones have one? I don't know.
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. We've all been led away from the path of Yellow Brick Road because we've been getting this quote wrong for years.
Isn't it we're not in Kansas anymore? But she says it to herself, right?
The real quote is actually, Toto, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. Which, in hindsight, makes more sense given the time period in the movie, but, I'm still upset. How many more movie quotes have we been saying wrong? Is there no end to this madness? 12.
Yeah, like I was saying, like, people roughly remember the quote, but someone, they hear someone say it, although they said it wrong, you believe it, and you start saying it, and it spreads that way. It's like, I live in Arizona, and there's a town called Prescott. The locals will tell you it's Prescott. And I think it's just one person didn't know how to pronounce it correctly. He called it Prescott, but no one questioned him, so they started calling it Prescott, and then it just spread that way. So if you go to Prescott, Arizona right now, and you call it Prescott, a local will correct you and say it's pronounced Prescott. It's strange.
12. The Berenstain Bears? Perhaps one of the most well-known instances of the Mandela effect, other than, of course, the one with, Nelson Mandela himself. This one comes from the classic stories of a family of bears. But what is the family's name? Many think it's Berenstain Bears, with EI, which is fair. That's usually how it's pronounced. But the correct spelling is actually the Berenstain Bears, AIN. Now, as wrong as that looks and feels in your heart, it's the truth. Sorry to break your brain a little bit on that one. 11.
What's sad is that I did read those books, but I never heard the last name out loud. So I never had a chance to hear the pronunciation.
11. Does Mickey Mouse have a tail?
No. He does not, right? Even in the old cartoons, I'm trying to think. But I haven't seen... I'm going to say no.
Stop and think about it for a minute. Does Mickey Mouse have a tail? Some people think he does, and some think he doesn't. Well, he in fact does have a tail, and always has. He's had a tail since his first appearance in Steamboat Willie. Maybe the confusion comes from the Disney theme parks, where when you meet him, he doesn't have a tail. Although I wonder why he puts his tail away for the theme park. 10.
That one got me. That one got me.
10. Does Curious George have a tail?
He's a chimp, so he doesn't have a tail. I want to say no tail again.
In a similar situation to the Mickey Mouse tail Mandela, this one poses the question to another beloved cartoon character. However, this time around, the truth is actually the opposite. Curious George, in fact, does not have a tail. Many people believe that at least at one point George had a tail, but no. Curious George has been tailless for the entirety of his storied career in books and TV. Because he's a chimp, and they don't have tails. 9. Salem Witch Trials.
Okay, what about the Salem Witch Trials? That it happened here in the U.S.? Maybe it's time period? 1800s? In Salem, USA?
When we think about the Salem Witch Trials, we imagine a colonial-era American town with women being accused of being witches and then being executed and burned at the stake or even drowned. But did it really happen that way? Well, in actuality, the women who were accused of being witches were executed by hanging. None were drowned or burned, as we've seen in books and on TV. Why we see this in history books, museums, and countless movies and TV may forever be a mystery. Maybe it's just more interesting? I don't know. Also,
I did not know how they killed them, though. I just know that they did.
Pressing. I believe one person was killed by pressing. I believe it was a guy. I forget his name. 8. Fly, my pretties, fly. The Wicked Witch...
This is Fly, my pretties, fly. If it's not that, then what is it? Fly, my pretties, fly. Oh, I don't know. I thought that's what I heard. Well, she didn't say pretties, maybe. Fly, my precious? Actually, I don't know.
To the West sends her flying monkey minions to hunt down Dorothy and shouts, "Fly, fly, my pretties, fly!" Great, just nailed it. Except she doesn't. All the Wicked Witch says is, "Fly, fly, fly!" She never calls any of the flying monkeys pretties. Where did we get my pretties from? How have so many people misquoted this? Even in shows and movies it's misquoted. How have we become so confused? 7. Cocoa Puffs aren't cocoa.
Wait a minute. Cocoa Puffs aren't cocoa. Then where is this going? Is it like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Picture this. You're a kid. You've just woken up on a Saturday morning. You get ready to pour a bowl of your favorite chocolate-based puff cereal. Now in your head, are you picturing Cocoa Puffs, C-O-C-O, or Cocoa Puffs, C-O-C-O-A?
With an A, right?
If you said the first one, you're wrong. Now don't go cuckoo. You'll be okay. We too didn't realize it was cocoa this entire time. Maybe it does just end with an O in a parallel universe or alternate timeline. Ooh, Hollywood, get on that. The Kellogg, the breakfast cereal universe. Amazing. They're characters. It writes itself. 6. Life isn't a box of chocolates.
Is this from Forrest Gump where life is like a box of chocolates? You don't know what you're going to get?
Well, we can categorize this one as another misquoted movie line. Prepare for a shock, but the famous movie line is not "Life is like a box of chocolates," but is actually life was like a box of chocolates. The movie is based on a novel, so it's possible that the book says the line differently, but further research has not confirmed nor disproven that theory. So we're not really sure where the confusion comes from on this one. Well, you never know what you're going to get either way.
Well, yeah, I was thinking Forrest Gump. Let me see this.
I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Life was like a box of chocolates.
But the famous movie line is not life is like a box of
So it's
chocolates,
just one word.
but is actually life was like a box of chocolates. The movie is based on a novel.
But really, that's super minor, though. One word error that just got spread. I mean, I get it. The accuracy is not there, but everyone kind of knows where it came from, right?
Novel, so it's possible that the book says the line differently, but further research has not confirmed nor disproven that theory. So we're not really sure where the confusion comes from on this one. Well, you never know what you're going to get either way. 5. Dorothy must do what with her heels?
She has to click her heels, right?
Heading back again to the wonderful world of Oz, because apparently we can't remember anything from the Wizard of Oz correctly. Many remember that the way for Dorothy to return home was that she must repeat the phrase, "There's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no place like home," and then click her heels 3 times. However, is it click? Some people think the correct phrasing is clap her heels 3 times. Others say click. Well, which is it? Surprise! Both sides of the argument are wrong. The actual wording is tap her heels 3 times. Are we sure we even watched the same movie? 4.
Okay, I have to see that part. 1 second.
Yes, I'm ready now. Then close your eyes and tap your heels together 3 times.
Tap your heels together 3 times. There it is. That one got me. Another one got me. Mirror, mirror is actually magic mirror.
Mirror, mirror is actually magic mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The evil queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs sang one of the best lines ever spoken by a Disney villain. What a classic. Wait, that's not what she said? Well, the actual quote is, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Even the second part wasn't what we thought it was. That's a whole new quote. That's 2 Mandela effects in 1. It doesn't feel right. Everything is a lie. 3.
I mean, honestly, that's I could see that one being misquoted. But the mirror mirror part, interesting. That's really interesting. But I also see magic mirror if I were to think of the movie and how it's phrased.
3. C-3PO isn't all gold. Surely, C-3PO is and has always been all gold. It's what he's known for, being all gold and being proficient in many, many languages, and yet he isn't all gold. In fact, C-3PO has a silver leg. How have we overlooked this? Surely there must be some appearance he's made where he's been all gold, but no, except in episode 3. C-3PO has had a silver leg since his very first appearance. We've all been fooled. Even toy makers have been fooled. They've made C-3PO action figures that are all gold. Maybe this is where the confusion comes from. And yes, in the opening scene of episode 4, A New Hope, you can clearly see he has 1 silver leg, and if I remember correctly, it is his left. And then in episode...
That one was his right. But I'm pretty sure, I feel like I noticed that, but in the toys, for sure, the toys have it wrong. I have to see the opening scene real quick. Yeah, I remember this as a kid. But I can't confirm if I remember it from the other 2 movies, Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi. So I would have to see him in there. Let me just check another movie real quick. This is the opening of Return of the Jedi.
Are you sure this is the right place?
Oh my god, his right leg is still discolored.
I suppose.
Yeah, it's totally a different color, even in Return of the Jedi. Fascinating. Okay. Oh, the C-3PO thing's bugging me, but this is from Revenge of the Sith. And, of course, this is CGI. Maybe the people who worked on... There might have been something that happened in between where he gets the silver leg, because he doesn't have the silver leg here.
Enough. The end of Count
Well,
Dooku.
it couldn't possibly be as bad as all that with you. In fact,
What else can we
I
see?
could do with a tune-up myself.
With the fight. I'm placing these droids in your care. Treat them well, clean them up, have the protocol.
And
droids
this is the
mind white.
scene that transfers over to A New Hope, right?
Dreadful place.
Not this scene.
Babies.
Captain Antilles,
Yes, Your Highness.
I'm placing these droids in your care. Treat them well, clean them up, have the protocol droids mind wiped.
What? Oh, no.
That's where they get wiped. That's why he did not recognize Owen. Okay, anyway. Back to this.
1, he's just the guts, and in episode 2, he's all silver, and then episode 3, he is all polished gold, but in episode 4 onwards, it's silver, and obviously you gain the red one, but no one recognizes him because of the red arm. So, not even sure that's actually C-3PO. 2, the Monopoly Man. Everyone knows the famous, or infamous, depending on who you ask, Monopoly Man. Picturing him in our mind, we see the classic man with his mustache, his suit, his top hat, and his monocle. But is that actually how he looks? As you probably could have guessed by now, the answer is no. The Monopoly Man has no monocle, no eyeglasses, nothing to even suggest he needs any sort of corrective lens. The man has had 20/20 vision this whole time, and we all thought he looked like the fancy man with his monocle.
Honestly, I guess if you were to ask me, describe him, I guess typically when you associate a rich person from like early 1900s with the top hat, you also envision a monocle too. So I probably would have said monocle.
Even looking at all the boxes in Monopoly Man lore, not once has he ever had a monocle. What I think is happening here is people in their minds are twisting Monopoly with money bags. Money bags, that's his name. Right? Yeah. I think they're mixing up him with Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut has a monocle. And I think that's what's happening.
That makes total sense. You can easily mix that up in your head. Like, who's so invested into remembering this, right? So that makes sense.
1. Luke, I am your father. What an iconic line. Constantly quoted, beloved by millions. It's just too bad it's not the actual line. That's right.
Wait. I don't want him to tell me what it is. Let me think this one through. This was from, obviously, Empire Strikes Back. He just cut his hand. Luke is moving away onto this post, but there's nothing underneath because he jumps later. Darth Vader is telling him something about, did Obi-Wan mention something about your father? Luke says, he told me you killed him. Of course, I'm paraphrasing this. I don't know the lines exactly. I know Darth Vader says no. No, Luke, I am your father? Are we missing the no? Or is it no, I am your father?
Infamous moment when Darth Vader says, Luke, I am your father, spoiler alert by the way, is never once said in any of the Star Wars movies. The actual line said in Empire Strikes Back is, no, I am your father.
That's really close. That's really close. And it's one of those things that someone could have said, Luke, I am your father. Someone believed it like, oh yeah, that sounds right. And then they repeat it and it spreads like that. And everyone's saying it wrong.
Some people blame many movies that incorrectly quote the movie, and it's gotten so bad, the New Yorker rated this line as the #1 misquoted line in movie history. So, what are some of your favorite examples of the Mandela effect? Let us know in the comments below.
So that's it. I mean, that was really good. That's an awesome video. I don't know if I follow this guy. Yeah, subscribe to List25. Oh, damn, 2.57 million. And click a like. And do that for me, too, if you don't mind. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment below. Tell me if there's any others. And credit to this person. Really enjoyed his video. Other than that, until next time, take care. Bye.